Welcome. Thank you all for joining or watching this on the replay. We are here to talk to you about why we love essential oils and natural health and why we love young living. So first of all, let's talk about the stuff that no one wants to talk about, which is all those chemicals that we think we need in our home to be clean and to be beautiful, but we actually don't. I'm not going to spend a ton of time there because it's kind of a drag to talk about, to be honest. But you need to know what you're bringing into your home because it has a direct impact on your health. So the things you need to watch for, if you haven't started reading your labels on your packaging yet, I know that I was buying things from Whole Foods, which is a health food store here in the US, and I thought that they were free of all the chemicals. And I found out that no, I'd still been poisoning my family, even from Whole Foods. So really, really be aware of the things that you bring into your home. Some of the biggest heavy hitters as far as chemicals are concerned are the F word, fragrance, which is really truly a dumping ground for chemicals because it is protected under trademark law that they can put all of these chemicals into this word, up to 300 chemicals, which by the way, no one polices to make sure it's only 300 chemicals. No one polices to make sure that none of the 11 banned chemicals out of thousands are actually not in that one word on that packaging. So it's really, really a scary word once you start to dig into that. Other things you should watch for is sodium lauryl sulfate. We do not need foam. We can lather with our bodies. Foaming agents are not good for us for many different reasons. And all of these chemicals like sodium lauryl sulfate, fragrance, and all the chemicals that are in that word, things like, I'm blanking on the antibacterial chemical that'll come to me in a minute, but if it says antibacterial on it, we don't need that, right? Like soap does that. We don't need to add a chemical in, which is actually a topical antibiotic. So as we add these things into our body, we are disrupting our hormones, we're disrupting our endocrine system, which is like our thyroid, our hormones. We are adding carcinogens into our lives. It's just not needed. There is a better way though. You don't have to stress out. And actually what you'll find is that you can reduce your chemical exposure while saving money. So you don't have to break the bank to go chemical free, or very low chemical in your life. So I think that's a huge, huge thing is that you really don't have to spend a whole lot of money to do this right. So there are lots of ways to be healthy. And one of the things that I think is important to know is that plants have been used for thousands of years for cleaning, for beauty, and for health. And in fact, somewhere around 85% of our pharmaceutical drugs are still derived by copying the chemical constituents in a plant. Because you cannot patent nature by law, that's part of patent law, you have to modify nature to get a patent on it. So if the pharmaceutical companies, they do all of these studies on plants, they find out their healing chemical constituents, they isolate the chemical constituent, and then they make a drug out of it with a bunch of, by making a synthetic version of it with other chemicals. So if you have ever picked up a prescription, or if you're in the US, which is one of the only countries that actually has pharmaceutical advertising on the television, you will see the pages and pages of side effects that come from these drugs. Or, they have the peppy and the pretty lady that are going across the screen on the television while they scroll through all the detrimental side effects of these drugs. And we don't need that, right? We don't need all the side effects. We can actually use plants that have positive side effects. So you can be remedying one situation and fixing another at the same time without even realizing it. So that is like such the beauty of these plants. So the plants, again, have been used for thousands of years for different things. If you are coming from a pharmaceutical or a medical background and you don't trust me, you shouldn't. You should do your own research. There's a great website called pubmed.gov. That's where all the pharma studies are located, and you can find thousands upon thousands of peer-reviewed studies on plants for different healing reasons and remedies, because they have to study them to make drugs out of them, right? So, don't trust me. Go do your own research. Talk to the people that you trust. Listen to the stories today that you'll hear, and then there's something really as you start to learn about essential oils, which is what we're going to talk about. So essential oils come from plants, which we're talking about, and essential oils are distilled from the leaves, the roots, the stems of the plants in most cases. With citrus fruits, they are cold pressed from the rind of the fruit. That means that they are extremely concentrated plant power that's coming out. And that's why we can find such effective results with using essential oils. But the essential oil industry has gotten super popular. There's literally essential oils sold at every single store in my neighborhood now. So how do you know what you're getting and the quality of what you're getting? And what you really need to understand is how the vast majority produces essential oils. Is what happens is there are these brokers that have all these clients as marketing companies for essential oils. And so they go to these farmers, the broker goes to the marketing companies and says, I'm here to provide you with plant product, with plant oils. And the broker goes to all these farms and they say, okay, I want you to distill or to cut cut your lavender for me on this day when I'm going to come and pick it up. So that might not be the best day to cut the lavender. And those farmers are needing to get as much as they can because this is how they make their income. So they spray their lavender with pesticides and herbicides, whatever it takes to get the most the most yield out of their crop. They sell it to these brokers. These brokers grab all this lavender from the farmers. They may or may not wait a certain amount of time from grabbing this lavender crop. Then they pour this chemical, the same thing that runs your air conditioning, known as antifreeze, on this crop, which makes the lavender start producing its oil. And then they cook it off and they sell that oil to marketing companies, which then in turn dilute it, often, almost always, with some kind of carrier oil, like grapeseed oil that doesn't have much smell. So you don't know how much plant essential oil and carrier oil you're getting in your bottle. Even USDA organic can have up to 5% chemicals in it. Regular organic standards in the US is somewhere around 15, although I'm not sure who's policing any of this. So you really, really need to know your farmer and your company if you are wanting a product that is for true healing benefits, not just for fake smells. By the way, synthetic oils and synthetic smells can also be added into essential oils and still be sold as pure and natural, because those are marketing terms that literally mean nothing as far as a regulation is concerned. You can call anything pure and anything natural and put a green on your label and people think that it's organic, right? So we are only going to talk about Young Living because Young Living does things very differently. They've been around for about 30 years now in the essential oil industry. They actually started off as a supplement company, then started infusing supplements and then doing essential oils on their own. Young Living owns the entire process from seed to seal. They own one of the only companies that owns their own farms and then has very, very special partnerships with family-run farmers, who many of which these farms have been generations in their families, and they are trying to survive. And Young Living partners with them to make sure that they can continue to survive and thrive by producing organically, sustainably grown plants that we use for oils to help people heal. That seed to seal process is extremely monitored. The soil has to be prepared for at least twice as many years as USDA organic. So organic standards is 4 years. It has to be at least 8, although most of our farms have virgin soil, meaning that there's never been a pesticide or herbicide used on the soil. The seeds are analyzed, the soil is cared for properly with things like worm castings and even always experimenting on ways to aerate the soil for the best production with the most organic and sustainable growth system. And this oil then is harvested on the right day based on when that plant needs to be harvested for its highest yield and highest potency. So for instance, in Mona, they test that lavender every single hour every single hour to make sure that that's at the highest of its potential during harvest season. And then it's tested through many, many different tests. I think it's 42 different tests to make sure that what we get in our hands is what we need. Is it has anything inorganic gotten on there, any herbicides or pesticides tested. We test for heavy metals, test for, is it a high enough, are the chemical constituents high enough that if you're using it for one thing, it's going to work just as well as if you're using it for another thing, because every chemical constituent has a different reaction in your body. All these things are tested for, in fact, twice, once before bottling and then once after bottling, just to make sure. So Young Living is a different way. It has a different way of doing things. I could talk about them all day, but the interest of time, do your own research. Go to seedtoseal.com and start researching all the ways that Young Living does things differently. And then I'm going to quickly go through how to use oils. And there's so many different ways, so I will be brief. So there's 3 different ways to use oils. First is topically. 2 places you never want to use oils topically: inside your eyes, inside your ears. Everything else is pretty much fair game. Just dilute with a carrier oil, a cooking type oil, which is ideally cold pressed from the seed of a fruit. If something gives a sensation that you're not happy with. But you can, so if I'm addressing an unhappy knee, I'll put it directly on my knee. If I want to address something that's internally that maybe I can't get to, then maybe I'll use that reflexology / Vitaflex point, which is, we call it Vitaflex in oil speak. So your feet, your hands, your ears, your spine, all have these Vitaflex points, which you will, I promise, don't feel overwhelmed. We'll teach you how as we go, right? So that's topically. The second way is internally. So again, only Young Living oils we're talking about. We actually have labels that are labeled as a supplement, meaning they can be ingested. And so ways that you can consume essential oils is in a capsule, in a veggie capsule. So Young Living sells capsules, or you can get them at your natural food store. You can put them in your water, but you want to use either glass or stainless steel if you're using citrus oils, so that you don't pull those plasticizers out. That's so good for your body, right, to pull plasticizers out when you're using oils, but you don't want to then be drinking that. So use those citrus oils to help detox your body, but put them in something that is not detoxing as you're trying to detox. So those are great ways to ingest oils for lots of different reasons. And then the third way is aromatic, so smelling an oil. So you could do that with a diffuser. There's one kind of hiding behind me. Or you can do, so the diffuser is going to break it up into the air, and actually kind of works in lots of ways, right? Because you're smelling it, it's getting on your skin, you're breathing it into your body. And then smelling an oil is really the fastest way to affect your emotions. So you can put a drop of oil in your hands and do what we like to call a scent tent, and just breathe that oil in. If you do that for a few seconds, it's amazing how quickly you calm the body down. Breathing is great, by the way, for you too, but adding an oil to it really, really helps the ability of the body to calm itself down. So those are the ways to use oils. Young Living has many products. We're founded in the United States, so we have the largest product set in the US, almost 800 products here. Depending on your country, you have a different amount, quite a few in many countries. So where do you start? There are starter bundles that you can use, or you can talk to the person that invited you to this class or sent you this video and really customize what you and your family need personally to start with to really get the best results that you're looking for. So now we're going to get to the fun part, which I've been racing through to get you to the really fun part, which is the stories of how do we use the oils in different ways. And I'm going to pass it over to Pam and Lydia to tell a couple of stories. So you guys are up.
Hello, everybody. I'm Pam, and this is my Lydia. And we're going to be speaking to you about cleaning your home, using the Thieves products, etc. I brought Lydia on because she really has the most testimonies, how it's improved her life, improved her health, helped her to make cleaning so much easier. She's very nervous, so I'm going to prompt her with questions. This is, I think, your second time that you've been on a call.
Yes.
And she's a big believer in all the natural stuff. She's got good oil stories as well, with health and healing for herself. So before we used chemicals, Lydia used to suffer with nosebleeds, summer and winter, terrible nosebleeds. where it was literally like she had to sit down and with tissues and tissues and tissues and just wait till it would stop. And since we've been using Thieves, tell everyone what's been happening with your body. Tell us how you feel.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lydia. I'm a little bit nervous and my English is not that good, so please. Okay, I'll tell you about my believer according to the oils. Before, I used to use chemicals like Domestos, Handy Andy, and stuff. And I used to suffer with my nose bleeding lots, maybe twice a day, 3 times. I can't count it. My hands, I couldn't even shake hands because before there was no COVID. So we used to shake hands, hugs and stuff, you know. So I couldn't do all of those things. And my friend, like, what's going on with you? What's wrong? Why you don't do this? I said, oh, please. One day I come out with them, please look at my hands. Was like, oh my God, a sandpaper is even rougher because was like a crocodile skin. So now my mom started using oils. So I don't know. I think God is with us because this oil is unbelievable. I'm not bleeding. My hands are smooth as a baby skin. I'm not even using a baby stuff. I'm using oils, Thieves. And my favorite is lemon. I use lemon oil to clean my ovens, to clean my microwave. Is beautiful. It's a magic, actually. It's like I'm having something, I'm telling you, because it's quick like that. I just put a bowl and put a drops of lemon inside and put in my oven and close it for a few minutes with the hot water and that steam. Oh my God, I just take a cloth and wipe it all. And I don't know what to say. Really, I believe in oils. I used to not, but now I'm telling you, I was like asking mom all the time, like, hey, what a drop? What are you doing with a drop? Hey? Because me, I used to pop the handy Andy, you know? But mommy just used a drop of oil. I was like, huh? A drop? Is this really? I was, ugh. But now, please, everyone, use the oil. It's natural and healthy. And thank you so much.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Just FYI, Handy Andy is like the main cleaning product in South Africa. We have a few that compete with it here, like Clorox, or I haven't used the chemical stuff in so long, I can't even remember the name of the brands. But you use the Thieves household cleaner a lot too, right, Lydia?
Yes.
Awesome. I love it. Pam, I think you have some stories for us too, right?
Oh my gosh, with cleaning, or do you want me to go on to Ningxia? Ningxia. So Ningxia came into our lives and literally has rescued us on numerous occasions. But my biggest, I think, would probably be my husband. He has a really bad back. He suffered with his L4 and 5 in his lower back, and he used to be on his back for a week at a time. And he's a plumber and a paramedic. So he's got to have strength, and he's got to be lifting patients, doing plumbing, lifting geysers, you know, all of that. Since he's been taking the Ningxia and sulfazyme, when last did he even go on his back? Maybe, I don't know, a year since he's been taking it. And he hasn't been taking it easy, especially during COVID, where he was an essential worker on both fronts. And health-wise, like his has just improved. I mean, his cholesterol levels have improved. He's like my biggest win. 2 weeks ago, we had a really bad tummy bug that ripped through my family. I've got 4 kids, and even you had it. And we literally survived on Ningxia. We couldn't keep anything else down, and we felt much better after drinking, you know, little sips of Ningxia throughout the day. So that was huge for us. All around, I've lost a fortune of weight since taking my sulfazime and my Ningxia and some of the oils. We do the skinny, which has made a huge difference. And then I'm like a gym freak now because, you know, I'm motivated to keep that weight off.
Can you explain the what Ningxia is and what the skinny is?
So Ningxia is the drink. Do I have any sachets here? No, they're all in the fridge. Ningxia is a drink. It's a supplement. It's brilliant for so much. Just a general, you know, wellness supplement. The skinny is, I make capsules. Am I allowed to speak freely? I think all the oils that are in the capsule have the vitality label anyway. So I make a capsule with Endoflex, grapefruit, lemon, I can't remember now, Dajaz, and that literally like curbs my appetite. And then I have my Ningxia at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it like literally like lifts me out of that like slum, that 3 o'clock slum where you start getting hungry and snacky and ratty, and then it like pulls me through right to dinner. It gives me a lot needed energy. But generally in summer I have 2 sachets, one in the morning in my bottle of water and one in the afternoon. Winter is different. I prefer hot drinks to cold drinks. But yeah, what else with Ningxia? Ningxia's the best. Okay. Every home has to have Ningxia. I think I ordered 3 boxes, sometimes 4 boxes a month of the sachets. It's like everyone in my family has it, from my 5-year-old to us adults, and Liddy loves it as well. Like we just drink it all the time. It's brilliant stuff.
Thank you, Pammy and Liddy. So nice to meet you, Liddy. I'm going to hand it over to Shelly. Shelly, you ready?
Yes. So hi, everyone. I am excited today to share a testimonial from a friend that had laryngitis. So my husband and I were having a dinner party, and this couple, the first ones to arrive, walked in, and the wife said, "Don't feel bad if Jeff doesn't talk tonight. He has laryngitis." And I said, oh, okay. And, you know, we walked into the kitchen and started making cocktails. And he walked around the island and came and whispered in my ear. And he said, "Do you have any oils for me?" And I mean, of course, I burst with like pride, and I ran to my purse, which was handy. And I grabbed my thieves spray that I keep on me all the time. And I told him to spray it in his throat. And he immediately obeyed me. He did that. And then I ran to where I keep all my oils. And I brought out, first of all, Melrose and then eucalyptus. And I had him put like a couple drops in his hand and rub it on his throat. And then, you know, as the other friends arrived, we're all in the kitchen talking. And I looked down at my watch, and 15 minutes had passed. And I said, y'all, does anyone notice that Jeff is talking? So within those 15 minutes of applying those oils in the spray, he had his voice back. I mean, he was still raspy, but he could verbally talk. And so I ran and opened the app and wanted to see what else I could give him. And I put out, you know, a couple more oils. And I said, anytime you walk into the kitchen, just reapply throughout the evening. And then before he left, he let me give him a shot of Ningxia. We were just talking about the benefits of Ningxia Red, and I put a drop of oregano and thieves in them. And normally I know that's a hot oil. A lot of people like to put them in a capsule, but I've just trained myself. I put it in my Ningxia and slam it back. And so I said, hey, it's going to be a little hot going down, but you know, we're in a hurry. Your Uber's coming. You know, an Uber is a car service. Take this shot. And he knew Ningxia Red because his wife has Ningxia at home also. So he let me do it, and it was just so fun to be able to, you know, watch him heal so fast, you know, in our home so quickly. So wanted to share that with you guys. And then I had another testimonial regarding the Thieves toothpaste. One of my best friends who's been using essential oils for a few months now, told me, she's like, Shelly, you're not going to believe this. Immediately, when I switched to the Thieves toothpaste, I got my vivid dreams back. And I was like, wow. I mean, it was just so fascinating to get that kind of testimonial regarding the toothpaste, but it's just another reminder how much all these chemicals, fluoride and all the toxins that are in our beauty products and our daily products, that they're hindering, the amazing things our body's supposed to do. So just a reminder that, any small change you make in your life is just going to, have great impacts on your body. So those were my two today.
Thank you so much, Shelley. Okay, so there are so many stories we could share, and we could talk till like next September about all of the ways that the oils and the supplements and the cleaning products and the beauty care products and the baby products and the animal products have changed our lives. And that can be overwhelming for a new person. So all I want to tell you is if you're new here is don't stress, because Young Living comes with a community of support. People will hold your hand and help direct you towards the information that you need to digest at that moment. You don't have to memorize it all. You do not have to be an expert. There are apps for that. There are groups for that. There are chats for that. And we will plug you in to the information you need so you will not feel lost on your journey. And I also want to talk about ways to save money, because I don't know about you guys, but I like to save money. So there are a few ways to save money with Young Living. The first is you could get a starter bundle. They are highly discounted. Another way to save money is if you spend, now I'm speaking for the US because it's a little bit different in each country. If you spend 100 PV, product value, which in the US is dollar for product, usually about equivalent, then you get the member discount. The same thing goes as when you buy a starter bundle. You get that member discount, which is 24% off of everything you order. Or in the US, if you put any item on subscription, subscribe to save, you also get 24% off your order, no matter what the spending level is. So you can spend much less than that as well to get your 24% off. The second way to save money is by joining our amazing loyalty program. You do that just by spending on subscription, or if you're not in the US, on Essential Rewards. It's what it's called in other countries. Same program. If you spend 50 product value a month, every single month. And what happens is when you do that, a few things, you will get 10% back as free money with Young Living in the first 3 months. After 3 months, you get 20% back. And after 25 months, you get 25% back on what you're ordering, in addition to the wholesale discount of 24% off. And then you can use that bucket of money that you have saved with Young Living to, buy whatever you want with your heart desires, that you'll see on the website of how to spend your points. So you can go on a shopping spree for all the things that you want with those points. The third way to save money, or really to make money, is you will fall in love with these products, like all the women who spoke here today have, and many of us in the past, right? We have all become obsessed with these products because they work. And like a good hair dryer, you're going to tell your friends about it, right? Because we want to help our friends, right? When your hair looks great, you tell your friends what you use. When you ate at a great restaurant, you tell your friends where you went. The same thing's going to happen with Young Living, is you're going to tell your friends. When you do, you give them your personalized link to Young Living, and Young Living will send you a thank you check for being the one to refer them. So for some people, they just do this casually from time to time, and that's just like a fun way to help their friend and to get their oils paid for, or just a bonus because they're nice. And for others of us, we have made a career out of just helping people full time with their health. So that's what we're going to talk about now, are the people that have decided to share Young Living in a more serious way on a regular basis. And so I'm going to hand it to Teresa, who is a Crown Diamond with Young Living. That is a very high rank with Young Living. That means she shares a lot, and she has a lot of people that she works with that also share a lot. And she's going to tell you how this changed her life. Teresa's amazing. She's hilarious. I can't wait for you to hear from her. So Teresa, can you unmute yourself so I can find you and spotlight you?
Thanks, Ali. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here, guys. One thing Ali forgot to tell you is that I'm really very shy. Okay, so for those shy people who think they cannot do this business, well, welcome to my world. For those people who think that they don't have friends, I don't know anybody, this is a yucky business, I have no time, well, welcome to my world. When I started Young Living, I got into it because I thought it was just going to be like a girls' night out. And then when I got there, there's like some empty seats, and I thought, so, oh my God, it's a prayer meeting. I'm going to be converted. Then they started passing these little bottles around. I'm like, oh, they actually smell good. Now, backtrack, and this had no reason or rhyme or logic as to why I was at that party. But a year prior to that event, I had lung failure. And yeah, lung failure. So it wasn't my time, but I did listen to my body, and it said, no, these remedies are not working for you. So I stopped them. The options that were given to me were like die now or die slowly. So die sooner, die later. Well, we're all gonna die, right? But which one do you want? Pain or more pain? Plus a pocketbook that's like more painful even to look at. So none of those options seemed viable for me. And I just stopped that. So, but the breathing difficulties, the gasping for air, the ability to speak without coughing. I mean, talk about who let the dogs out. That was me, right? And I actually made it to that party thinking, okay, I can relax. I can probably have a massage. And I didn't expect a prayer meeting to go on. Lo and behold, it was not a prayer meeting. They just passed bottles around and I could breathe. I felt great. And I said, I want to take these home. Now, during that time, having an extra premium starter kit or what we call flip kit or rotation kit was not, I guess, kind of the fashion. But I wanted to take one home right away. I didn't ask, who the founder was, what was the background. I didn't ask, is this an MLM, direct marketing sales? So I have to say, I didn't ask any of those questions. I just wanted the product. I was not concerned about that. I didn't even ask, are these organic? Because I've been using essential oil, store-bought, and yes, even orally. You think I read the instructions that said external use only? Of course not. They're too small. I didn't read that. I mean, I'm still alive, right? I wouldn't do it now, but I did that. And these are store-bought Sprouts, you name it, or whatever was cheapest on Amazon. And I didn't think there was a difference. So fast forward to this event, I bring it home, right? I ordered stuff online, and first time in years, I slept for 6 hours straight and I could actually breathe. 7 years later, I have not touched a single synthetic, no steroids, nothing that's harmful to my liver. And that's just what I was really concerned about, because if you know those inhalers and puffs, that's really damaging to the liver. And back then I had 2 businesses, one overseas and one here in LA. I'm from Southern California, and 3 little kids. So 2 in middle school, 1 in elementary. And I'm thinking like, I have no time for this. I cannot add on to my plate. However, I was a walking diffuser, right? So anywhere I went, people would smell me and they would ask, oh, what's that? And I would readily pull out my Breathe Again and just, you think I even asked them if I can roll this on you? No, I was really very invasive and just here, just put it on, or let them smell it, right? And they're like, oh, I want some. Yeah, sure. This is how you do it. Gladly, I did not study the compensation plan. I don't know the PV. I don't know fast start. Do not ask me any questions about the compensation plan. I didn't know the compensation plan until I reached Diamond. Truth be known. So, we're so concerned about learning the basics of a business, but what this business really boils down to is the amount of people we talk to and the amount of people we share our oils with. Now, after the sharing comes like, you want one? You want some? Okay, here, this is how we do it. All right. Because if somebody comes here and asks me, oh, that's a really nice coffee table, I love your fire pit, I quickly tell them, oh, I got it from this guy. It was custom made, blah, blah, blah. Look for this guy, period, damn, right? But no matter how many people I refer to that guy, did I ever get a commission check? No. Did I ever get a free coffee table? No. But with Young Living, the following month, when I referred somebody, I got a welcome check. And mind you, I thought the check was fake, kind of like millionaire sweepstakes. I'm like, do I even deposit this? Will they arrest me if I brought this to the bank? And lo and behold, the checks were valid. And I didn't believe in so many things that were Young Living, like the compensation plan. Seriously, you sell little balls and you can make that much money? Yeah, right. Well, yeah, it's true. I think my biggest paycheck was $90,000 in a month. And I'm like, whoa, is this real? I was getting so scared that year because as I could see it going up, I was like, oh my God, I can only think of taxes, right? I'm going to pay more taxes. Stop. My accountant said, you know, the more taxes you pay, it's a sign of the more money you make. I'm like, okay. And that's what
We lost your audio, Teresa.
I don't know what happened. Probably somebody upstairs saying, you talk too much. No. I don't know where I stopped. So our business is about filling a need. And that's what it did for me and for my family. Everybody else could sleep better. I needed, oh gosh, during that time, you could only have one premium starter kit per account. Can you imagine? So how many rooms do we have? I mean, now I just need more room so I can fit all my diffusers, right? But I just rotate. The thing is, what keeps a business an ongoing concern? And that's a definition of a business. It's an ongoing concern. And what we have as far as we're living, right, our health, it's an ongoing concern. So this business provides solutions to an ongoing need, and that is to keep us healthy. So for as long as we're alive, right, Young Living will have a purpose in our homes, in our families. And these last 2 years only prove that so many other businesses were not in the same level. I mean, talk about essentials. We are in the essential oil business. Health became top priority, became top of mind. What more time or opportunity do we need than to start now? So I really encourage everybody to just keep using your oils. Aside from the changes it has done for my family, for me, in fact, the fact that I'm talking to you and I'm still alive without all these synthetics, to me is I think it's a pretty big deal, don't you think? Right? And those two businesses that we had and I was worried about, right, taking on more stuff 7 years ago, those businesses have downsized to about 10-20% of what they were because of what we have gone through in the last 2 years. And I cannot just even begin to imagine what our life would have been like if we didn't have Young Living, that Young Living paycheck coming in every month in the last 2 years, or what our health would have been like if I didn't stumble upon Young Living 7 years ago. So something to think about, guys, because it is real, it is a need, and you will be helping somebody somehow for a lifetime. All right, I'm going to pass it on to Tiffany.
Hey everybody, my name is Tiffany. Just about fell off my chair there. Very much like my son. I have been using Young Living products for coming up on 11 years now, and I am a gold leader in the company and have an amazing team, and I love each and every one of them. When I first got started with Young Living, my husband worked for a startup company and I was new to California, didn't have a job yet, and so just kind of stayed at home and kept the house clean and cooked meals, and it was great and I loved it. But my husband worked for a startup company, and if any of you know what it's like to work for a startup company, you know that it's a lot of work and not a lot of pay. And that's what my husband had been dealing with for a long time. He loved the company. He saw a lot of vision there and he really thought it was going to go somewhere. So he wanted to stay. And I was just like, great, you know, this is what you want to do. Fantastic. We can make this work. Fast forward a little bit, and then we found out we were expecting our first baby. And we both really wanted the absolute best for her. We both grew up in very organic, healthy minded homes, and we really loved that and wanted that for our own growing family. And so we looked for different options on how to create a good toxin free environment for her, be able to afford wholesome organic foods when she would start eating foods, all those kinds of things. Only the problem is that we really couldn't afford that. So we looked at our budget and we started to figure out how we could make personal sacrifices for ourselves in order for our daughter to have the very best things, in life. And that's kind of when I started getting into Young Living. I spent a lot of months on the couch, very sick, growing her. And I started doing research on how I could have the best unmedicated birth, all those kinds of things, what I could do for my baby as soon as she was born, how she could have the best life. And I fell in love with Young Living just by doing research. I didn't even really have any products. Just by like reading about it, I was like, this company is amazing. And so I started figuring out how I could, cut more of our budget and make more personal sacrifices in order to have all these products at my birth. And it's so funny, I think, and also noble and beautiful, but, moms are always willing to make huge sacrifices in order for the health and benefit of their children. And again, it's beautiful. And I love that. And I still do that today, but you have to stop and think about it for a minute and realize that if you keep making personal sacrifices and you keep giving up health and wellness for yourself in order to benefit your children, eventually, you're going to have something detrimental is going to happen to your health. You have to realize that. You can't just keep doing that and then expect that everything is going to be fine for you. You can't, buy organic shampoos or Young Living shampoos for your baby and then use Johnson & Johnson or something other, awful products with formaldehyde on your own head, because eventually you are going to fall apart and you won't be there to take care of your baby. So you really have to kind of take a step back and say, how can I make this work for everybody and not just my child? So I started really getting involved with Young Living as I was growing my baby. And then she was born. And, with a new baby comes a new birth story. And you start telling your friends because everybody wants to know, how long was your labor? What was the worst part? How was transition for you? How much did your baby weigh? How long was she? All those kinds of things. And I was talking to a really good friend of mine about my birth story and mostly focusing on how incredible Peppermint was. My baby was posterior for the majority of the labor, which was very long. And I had a whole birth plan all written up with at this stage in labor, use these oils, massage here, do all these things. And my midwife wasn't super into oil, so she didn't really pay attention to that. And the labor was very, very difficult. But Peppermint was amazing and it works. And my baby turned and she was born 23 minutes later. So, I don't know what would have happened if we'd used Peppermint earlier. Who knows? So I told her about that. And then I was like, and the other thing that I just can't imagine not having, again, this is my first baby, so maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, but like frankincense and peace and calming, guys. If you are going to have a baby or somebody's going to have a baby, buy them frankincense and peace and calming. They will thank you. My goodness, it was fantastic. And I've used it on all three of my babies. Never had a burning ring of fire, none of that, never tore with any of my babies. My second baby was 11.5 pounds and 2 feet long and was born completely unmedicated. And it was fantastic. And I just love those 3 oils and orange. Gotta have orange. I do have like a whole birth plan with all my oils. If anyone is interested, you can hit me up later. Find me on Facebook. My name on my my Zoom link right here, or Tiffany FM Hector. That's me on Facebook. So that's even, you can feel free to hit me up. But also Deborah Rayburn's book, her oily baby book. I can't remember the name of it. Gentle Babies. Absolutely fascinating book. Everybody needs that one. But I've had a lot of experience giving birth to big babies. And my first was 8'4", 11.5. And then my third was 3 weeks early and he was 9 pounds, 4 ounces. And he's the only one that I had an epidural on for very significant health reasons. But again, I used oils the entire time. So it was pretty fantastic. But my point was, I was telling my friend my whole birth story and she went home and yes, he's now bigger than my mom. He's very tall. I think he's like 5 foot something now. He's 8 and he's just huge. He's a very tall kid. But my friend went home and she ordered oils. I honestly don't know how she found my referral number. I don't know if she called Young Living. I should ask her sometime because I didn't have a link up. I wasn't trying to build a business. I was just telling her my birth story. And she went home, somehow found me and then ordered a kit. And I got a thank you check in the mail. And I was like, wait, I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on. And I called my mom, who's my upline, and she was like, oh, your friends use your referral number. You got a thank you check. And from there, like literally my entire world just exploded. I don't even know what happened. I honestly can't even think about how I got to where I am today. I mean, I can, but like in the beginning, it was just so many people at that time wanted oils. I mean, a lot of people who were having babies. My friend knew people who were having babies. And it was just so incredible to watch it just explode. And what I love so much, sorry, I'm getting over having a slight cold, is that like Ali was saying, there's so much resources, there's so much support. It doesn't, like if you enroll and you decide you want to be a brand partner, it's not like you have to be alone in any of this. You can have this huge community, and all of a sudden, even if you feel like you've never had any friends, once you start being a brand partner with this company, you have friends everywhere. I have friends all over the world. I went to Europe for my husband's business trip and ended up flying to the north coast of Spain to meet someone in my Young Living team. And it was so amazing to be able to meet with her and connect face to face. But beyond that, I mean, I now have hundreds of friends, that like real friends that I never would have had without this business. And I'm very much a people person. So this is like kind of a big deal to me. But the other thing that I really have loved about this business is that if you were to open up a boutique, let's just say a boutique, you would have to do all the research, all the inventory, financially back it, do all the advertising, and everything would be on your shoulders. The entire success of that company would be on you. And that's so different with Young Living. Now, I mean, let's not even go into like all the details on how Young Living advertises for you. What is so incredible about Young Living is that the diamonds in this company didn't build to diamond themselves. Like if you look at the night sky and you see like one star out there, you're not going to be like, wow, that's amazing. But if you look at the night sky and you see tons of exploding stars in the sky, you're going to be like, wow, that is amazing. And that's what a diamond is in this company. A diamond is a massive star made up of lots of other stars that are just exploding because they're so caught up on the vision. They want to share, they want to tell their stories, they want to share about the product. And without all those people, you wouldn't have people ranking up. You have to have the community in order for people to succeed. And it's not like, you're just building up like the one CEO and he's just going to make all the money, because everyone is so invested in everybody in this company. And I absolutely love that. And the success of your business isn't solely on you. And it's so fantastic. And I just love this business. And through Young Living and all the budgeting, and like Teresa was saying, you have to find ways. You have to obviously find financial ways, but saving money, that's what she was talking about, and saving money by using the products, because you can put things on subscribe to save, and then you can cash in for stuff later. And it's so cool. In order, you can do that. Everything's 24% off. So you can start switching out your dish soap and your household products and your personal care products and all those kinds of things, and eventually save money in the long run. And then making money on the side is just kind of like this added awesome bonus. So it's really, really cool. I love the business, and I honestly can't imagine what my life would be like without it. So hopefully that's encouraging to someone on here. I'm going to pass it on to Jennifer. So thanks, everybody.
Hey everyone, I'm also a gold leader out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I did not also come here for a business opportunity. I'm a real estate agent, so I already had one business, so I wasn't really looking for another business to occupy my time. But let me tell you the way that God operates. I am a breast cancer survivor and came after Lavender for my oldest daughter in 2017 that was struggling with some anxiety and panic attacks when she found out that I had breast cancer. And she was going through her senior year of high school, and I went to my neighbor and we were outside at the mailbox, and I was like, I don't know what to do to help her. And she said, I know. And she was very confident in telling me that she knew what I needed to do. So she's like, my friend's an RN, and I had just come through a double mastectomy. I was not holistic minded at all. Had not done my research. They don't really give you a lot of time to research. They're like lobectomy, mastectomy, you want saline, you want whatever the other implant was. Like they're like decision, let's do this. And she was like, go speak to my friend who's an RN. I know you'll feel confident with her. And I did that. And I took my mom with me that night, and my mom and I both left that night with a starter kit. And I have been blown away ever since. I came for one oil. It's kind of interesting, but I left with a whole kit. I learned how to use oils that night. And for 8 to 10 months, I was not on a monthly box. At that time, there was not an option to do a subscribe to save or anything like that. I didn't know anything about ditch and switch, but I got dropped into a group. So if you have education, thank your people. I finally got slowed down in real estate enough in November of that year, it was in 2017, to listen to some of those videos. And I literally got a notebook and started binge watching. And let me just say, our household looks nothing like it used to, and our lives have been changed forever. So on that note, I have now learned what I didn't know. And what I know now is that oils are treasures. Back in the Old New Testament in the Bible, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, they were treasured, like they were prized possessions. And it's been so long that people have actually heard of why and how we use them. And I don't know of another company like Young Living that helps not only the physical body, but the emotions. So there's not another place to be like Young Living. And the part that I love the most is the community and how much I have learned. So I have learned about not just oils, I have learned about allergies and parabens, and I have learned about things in mattresses, all the synthetic things in pillows and couches. And how many of you have learned so much since you've just been around people that are in Young Living? Like, I'm like, I am so glad you're my friend. Like, can I just sit at your table? Like, let me hang out for a long, long time. That's what these people do with Young Living, is invest. They invest in you because no one opened up this can of worms for me before. Like, I had breast cancer, right? But I didn't come for me to come to Young Living because I had a need. I came for my daughter. So I totally relate to what was already said. We will do anything for our children. So funny story is, lemon is your oil. I came for this, but after trial and error, my daughter, who's now 23, just graduated college teaching social studies, 6th grade. Her favorite oil that she's drawn to this day and now diffuses in her classroom is lemon. So bright oils help to uplift. And I know probably some of you know that already, but I cannot tell you the growth that we've had in our family. So many people don't realize all that we know. And we didn't know all of this in the beginning. So we just encourage you to team up with those around you and let them invest some time in you. And if they've put out a video or they've sent something to you to listen to or to read, you really have no idea what you're about to unlock, because it will literally change your family for generations to come. And I want to make an impact and I want to leave a legacy. And that's what Young Living has helped me to do.
Amazing. That's amazing, Jennifer. I'm so grateful for you sharing what you had to share about your story. So this is just the most beautiful community, and I get to meet people online I have never even met before. It's just amazing. So first of all, whoever sent you here to watch this class or to send you this link obviously cares about you. So please reach back out to them, get their link to get started so that they can plug you into all the resources that you need to get all of your questions answered on your oily journey. And I wanted to also talk to you about the next class, which is coming up on Thursday at the same time, same link. And we are doing a class about weight loss, new year, new you. So please make sure you tune into that as well.